Hi everybody, my name is Jessy and thank you for joining me today. So welcome back to my second diary entry. I've been nervous to post this and I don't even know why, because this is meant to be my most favourite video to shoot every week because it's my diary. I've been through a roller coaster this week. Actually, compared to the last few weeks, it's not been as tough as it usually has been, or at least has been for a few months now. I'm struggling to breathe, and for full point of transparency, because I said that this is a really minimal editing kind of video where what happens goes. So if any disturbances happens, it happens. So for point of full transparency, I have genuinely convinced myself I've given myself food poisoning. Oh god. I think I have food poisoning. I cooked tilapia and I'm pretty sure I cooked it really well, but there might have been some edges that I didn't cook so well, but I would have thought that at least the heat would have cooked it, so it wasn't crispy, because I love tilapia crispy. And so I really thought I cooked it well, but I've not been feeling too good. My mouth is salivating in a way that I just want to vomit, but I can't bring myself to do it unless I force myself to do it. I don't know. Anyway, that's not part of my story. Well, actually, I don't have a story. This is just a diary. So I need to tell you about everything that's been happening. I've been avoiding being an adult this week because I'm just so overwhelmed at the moment. I have messages on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, emails upon emails that I really truly want to respond to. Some specific ones where people have actually genuinely reached out to me and touched my soul in certain ways. I've read them. I haven't responded. Why haven't I responded? Because I want to make sure that when I respond, I have given you the full attention and time that you deserve. But then I feel guilty. Because there are some people who might have just said a hello, well wishes that I haven't been able to respond to. And then I leave it, and then I'm like, I'll respond later because, I'm trying to respond to other people. And then I just end up procrastinating because I feel sick at the thought that my email inbox has over 1,000 messages right now that I still haven't gotten through. And it piles up every day, and I'm just like, I feel really annoyed at myself and mad at myself that I have some really amazing people who are reaching out to me, and I'm missing out on our opportunity to talk to these people and comfort them and love them the way that they've loved me, because I am busy being harassed like 1,000 a day. People, I get 1,000 at least of really horrible messages, people soliciting nudes from me, people who are just signing me up to things that I haven't asked for, just really awful things. And I'm just like, it's not fair, because I'll have someone who messages me, like I encourage people to do, who says, "Hi Jessy, I really need a friend right now." So I will talk to this person and we'll talk for at least an hour. And it'll be a back and forth thing, because clearly we're getting to know each other. And then at the end of it, they're like, "So when are you going to send me nudes?" And it's like, I've just wasted an hour talking to you because I thought that you really needed a friend right now. And this is just one example of many conversations that I have that ultimately lead to me feeling really rubbish about myself, because I'm like, am I just a really bad judge of character that I'm trying to give everybody the same opportunity that each person has? I'm not that I'm an in-demand person at all, and I would rather not sleep and respond to everybody and to avoid disappointing people. But I can't help it when, you've had 6 conversations in a day and they've all led to something really horrible, and you just feel down about yourself because you're like, am I really such an awful person that this is the kind of messages that I get? I'm trying to develop thick skin, I really am. I'm trying to be braver, I'm trying to be a big girl, all whilst dealing with this whole idea that, my mum still is rejecting me and it's my dad's birthday soon and I really want to go back. Scott and I can't afford to go stay somewhere else. There's no one else we can stay with, so we have to stay at my parents' house. But then it's that I feel disrespectful going to my parents' house knowing that I'm not talking to my mum. What do I do then? Like, at dinner, just not go to dinner and not sit down with my family? Or what do I do? You know, Scott suggested we sleep in our car, like in my parents' like driveway, and I was just like, okay, but is that a bit too far? You know, I'm still sticking to my guns. I'm still determined that unless she is willing to consider changing and willing to reevaluate the way she's doing things, I don't want to have any part of her in my life. But that is affecting my relationship with my dad, even though he completely understands and he really does support me in my decision. And whether or not you understand that is another thing. You know, you don't have to you don't have to understand my dad's decisions to support me, but I really appreciate the fact that I do get his support, because it is tough. It's tough to let go of someone so important in your life, even though you know that it is such a good reason. So that's where my mind has been at. And then basically I had my therapy session on Thursday, and I brought up I was talking about my mum and everything, and then somehow conversation, and I honestly cannot remember how we led to it, but to discuss, you know, my childhood, and how painful it was for me. And then we got into a conversation of how I was learning to speak English when I when I was 7, like learning how to speak English, and how much I struggled, and how my cultural identity issues really started to take form at that age. And for some reason, that conversation just really caught me off guard, and it wasn't something that I was aware I had blocked out from my memory. But the moment we started talking about it and she started asking questions, the more I remembered and the more pain came back to the surface. And see, I filmed a video about this yesterday, because I said to people, you know, if you want to know more about me learning to speak English and how tough I found it, let me know. And I got some messages saying, you know, I'd really like to know your side from things, you know, how you found it, or people sharing their stories. So I thought, okay, let me do it. Let me share my story. And I managed to film that video without crying. Bearing in mind, I'm not sure yet whether I will plan to release the videos on Thursday. I've tried to film a few videos of me trying to explain why I was so upset, but the harder I tried, the more upset I got. So I actually did film like several videos, stopping and starting, stopping and starting. I don't know if I'll ever show that, but it really was a good way of showing someone going through a slight depression spiral. That is all I can describe it as, because I found my mood completely dropped and I ran out of energy to do anything. And in the end, I just took myself to bed at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and was like, I'm going to call it a day because I need to do something else, because I'm not feeling good. And I took that time to have for myself, and it felt good. It felt good, and it felt really good to finally talk about those things to someone. Yes, it was my therapist, but it felt good to do that, and that's why I suddenly felt strong enough to share my story. And I'm sharing this like recollection of it, and I'm not emotional anymore. It doesn't feel so terrible anymore. And do you know what I think it was just the art or the ability to just share with somebody, so that it was no longer just in my heart and that I was keeping this sadness a secret. And yes, it's such a quick turnaround. Maybe I'll have after effects. Maybe in my next counseling session, when we bring it up, I might get emotional again, but I genuinely feel like I'm in a better place with it. And I know now that I want to have conversations with my dad about how much I struggled to learn English and how traumatizing I found the whole experience to be. I don't know why I suddenly feel better about it, but I feel good, and I'm going to take that and call it a win because I want to start calling wins in certain situations in my life, because I'm so tired of hating on myself all the time. Like, at some point we must get to a point where we're like, I can't be my enemy anymore, because there are too many evil people in the world that need to be silenced or need to be taught a lesson. And that's where I want to focus my energy now, is trying to create a positive space for people in light of all the negativity happening. Like, I want to create this happy, safe space where people can share, people can bring their pain and share that pain and then let it go. I want people to feel like they have a place where they can celebrate and not feel guilty about celebrating even the smallest things. Or even if you have a worry that's so tiny, that you think is tiny, I want there to be a place for everybody to feel like they can share anything and feel better for it, because I didn't have that. And now I have this ability to be able to create it. I want to do that. Then thinking about one of the negatives that I've taken from this week is truly the unsolicited emails and messages. Why? Because it's taking up so much of my time trying to sort through them, because I don't want to accidentally mistake someone who's genuinely vulnerable and genuinely wants to talk to me to feel like they didn't have a right to speak to me. And so I try and respect everybody and try and respond to everybody's message with some kindness, some kind of empowering message, and also to encourage them to communicate with me if they feel like it helps them in some way. Because it makes me feel good too. It makes me feel like I have a friend that, I'm being able to help, and that they don't feel silenced or they don't feel ignored, and that they feel welcome. And that gives me so much joy, because, like I said, I for so long felt like I've had nobody to talk to, and now, yes, it's through videos, but I feel like I get to share my thoughts and my feelings, and I don't get bogged down by these things at night anymore. I genuinely don't. It makes me feel good. Yes, I have anxieties about other things. Something I want to talk about quite openly, because this is my diary, is the fact that something that I've been feeling negative about is just the lack of support I've been receiving from friends and family. I was too embarrassed to admit on LinkedIn that I don't have very many friends. I was talking to one of my new friends, Gina. We met on LinkedIn. In fact, quite a lot of my new friends are from LinkedIn, and they are all ages, all races, all genders, all sexualities, and I love it, because I've never had such an inclusive but diverse community before. I've never ever been part of that kind of community before, and I'm really, really happy, because I'm getting to learn about a lot of things, and I really feel like I'm most educated right now than I have ever been, and I continue to learn. I was talking to my friend Gina the other day, because I was feeling particularly down, and we try and do at least a weekly call if we can, and I get a lot of comfort from her. And I was just saying, I genuinely think I bring out the bad in people, because I try so hard to be a good friend. I try so hard to be a good person, because I'm aware of how I used to be when I was younger. Completely selfish, completely convinced that the world was out to get me. And if I tell you all the things that I've been through in my life, and I'm sure eventually we'll get there, I don't blame myself for thinking that the world was out to get me, but I think I should have been more understanding of certain situations. I should have been a lot kinder. I was an angry kid that became an angry teenager, that became a depressed young adult, and now I'm trying to get into grips with my recovery, I think. I don't know. I'm trying to be a better person. And so, yeah, I said to her, I feel like, because every time I've made friends, I've always ended up loving way too much, and it's always ended up hurting me. I have very, very few friends to this day, and most of those friends that I have, that I consider, my lifelong friends, are ones that I've had for years and years. I don't have any new friends that are I mean, like, aside from LinkedIn, so forget LinkedIn, I do not have any friends in my social circles that I have known less than a year. In fact, I have known less than 3 years. That is how small my circles are. A lot of my friends I've known since I was 6 years old. I can count how many friends I have in one hand that aren't related to me, I have to say, because I have a big family. But I don't know, what am I saying? Like, the thing is, I don't expect anybody to do anything for me, because come on, I've never asked really for anybody to support me in my work. It's my work, so it's, you don't have to be punished for it. But there's certain things that I have grown to expect because of how I treat people. Now, I understand social media is like completely way over my parents' head, so I never ask them to watch my videos. In fact, I prefer that they don't watch my videos because it makes me feel like I can share. When I say parents, I mean my dad, but I'm so used to saying parents. I don't expect him to watch my videos. I prefer it because it means I can be as open as I want to without worrying that my dad's going to get hurt. And I don't want to hurt him, despite some things that I want to talk about and I want to bring to light. I don't want to hurt anybody in the things that I share. I just want it to be empowering for somebody else. I want to inspire someone to speak up and use their voice. And also for me, just personally for me, I deserve to get to let go of these things that are holding me back and hurting me inside. And so I'm very upfront. If I'm about to talk about somebody in one of my videos, I'm quite upfront, maybe it can be misconstrued as a negative way. For example, yesterday I posted a video about the breakup that Scott and I went through. And I said to him, are you okay me talking about this? Because I'm going to say some things that are quite hurtful, but it's important to share in the story that I'm sharing. And he was like, yeah, do it respectfully. And in fact, for the most part, people are saying that, do it respectfully. On a flip note, because I'm going to go off on a tangent, I have what I call a nervous tummy. So if I'm really anxious, my stomach hurts really, really bad. And I sometimes mistake it as food poisoning. And I'm wondering whether my stomach being the way it is today is because of this anxiety that I'm holding. Because I'm about to film... Later on this evening, I'm filming another episode for Difficult Conversations, and the topic's going to be sneak peek, because I know that no one really watches these videos, and in case Elizabeth Hudson is watching this video, I want to tell you how much your message meant to me. I am going to respond, but I am taking my time to respond because I want to give you as much of my genuine love and attention as possible, because I can't tell you what your messages did to me. I bawled like a baby and couldn't understand what the heck I had done as a human being to deserve someone so amazing like you. I'm saying it through this video because I'm telling you now, I'm going to attempt to send you my essay today, but if it doesn't get there, it will get there, and I don't even know. I don't deserve you to watch this video because it's been 3 days since I responded, since you sent me messages, and it means a lot, and I don't want you to think it didn't mean a lot. When I get a certain message that makes me pause and think or makes me feel a certain way, it's a little bit harder to respond, because it's not a case of me telling you how amazing you are and how fantastic you are and how much I appreciate you, because I mean all of that. But at the same time, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a generic response. I want to genuinely give you a response. And some people don't understand that. Some people would rather you just respond to something generic just to respond than to actually hear from you and your heart. And I don't want to do that. I'm not that kind of person. And I hope that you will understand if you're watching this video. I really appreciate you watching this video. Again, like I said, I never started doing these videos. I don't promote it. I don't tell people that I'm doing this because I'm not intending to flaunt this thing. This is me and my therapy that I'm using. Because I say that anybody who watches these videos, there's a purpose for it. You found this video for a reason. not because I told you to come here. So I'm grateful for everybody, the silent followers and the silent viewers too. I'm really grateful for you all, because this is a really personal side. I burped in my first video doing this, so how personal do you need me to get? I just told you about my sensitive tummy. So anyway, as I was saying to you, I'm filming later on this afternoon, or this evening actually, at 8 o'clock. It's okay though, because the other day I did an interview like this at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then it lasted till 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I was up at 10, and yeah, anyways, it's fun though. It is fun, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. But I am interviewing, so the topic of this difficult conversations, it won't be up for a few weeks yet. If you want to know when I post it, send me a message and let me know that you want to see it, so that I can make sure that I send you an actual link, so that the day I post it, so that you can know that it's out. I don't know, is that a vain thing? I always really struggle, like, it's not a vanity thing. I just want to make sure that I don't know, I'm sorry. I don't want you to think that I'm so vain that I'm like, you have to watch my videos. But if you want me to tell you that these videos are coming out, I will let you know. Anyway, moving forward, the topic of conversation is toxic and broken friendships. And it is going to be with one of my oldest friends. And we haven't had the easiest friendship in the world. We were thick as thieves. I never understood that saying, by the way. What does thick as thieves mean? Thick like stupid, or thick as in thick with a C? Someone tell me. Or not, I'll Google it eventually. But my internet's really slow. I discovered that just now. Anyway, and we haven't had the easiest friendship, because we've gone through some really, really tough and difficult things together that, you know, make or break friendships. I went through something really painful, I consider painful for me, that my best friend was, this is her, she was my best friend. We're friends now. Like, I don't know what to call each other anymore, because we've not really spoken in many, many years. Like, genuinely haven't spoken in many years. I reached out to her because she's a very honest person, and she said to me, Jessy, you know that any question you ask me, I will answer very truthfully. There might be things that I say that is going to hurt you. And I said to her, well, do you love me though? And she was like, yeah, of course I love you. And I was like, well, that's all I need to know. You can say as hurtful things as you want to me, as long as there is truth, or you feel there is truth in that. You give me a chance to explain myself too. I get to ask you questions, and you are completely honest. And if it hurts, it hurts, and we can decide that it hurts then. But if we're ever going to become friends again and really reconnect again, we have to have this conversation. Why not through a difficult conversation? Genuinely, none of these conversations are set up, you know, despite my intentions. And maybe in the future, when I start to film with people I don't really know, I will send some pre-written questions. But so far, the episodes that you've seen so far, and the ones that you will see over the next few weeks, they are not planned in any way aside from scheduled phone Zoom call. That is the only planning that's been done to it. I had every interview intended to send some questions ahead of time, but then something has happened last minute, and we've ended up bringing the meeting so far forwards that we ended up not having time to do the questions. And actually, in a way, my friend Eric Ramelli, who I did my first difficult conversations with, he's like, Jessy, but that's the beauty of an interview. It's authentic, it's real. Like, you know, you keep it real that way by not editing so much, not having too many planned things. And I've been enjoying that aspect of things a lot more. And I'm really actually excited for you to see the next episode that's coming out this Thursday, because it is with somebody I never ever thought I would be interviewing in my life. To give you a clue, it is an ex-boyfriend who I haven't spoken to in probably 11 years. 10 years, give or take. I don't remember fully. Neither of us could fully remember, but that is how difficult that conversation is going to be. And I've actually shared this with you, but I've not told anybody else except my sister. So keep that a secret, okay? Please keep it a secret. And also, if you get a chance, watch that video. It is really awkward. It is such an awkward conversation, but we came to some kind of happy ending with it. So that's enough spoilers for you. And excuse me, this wasn't even meant to be a plug for it. Where was I going with it? Where was I going with it? Okay, so so this friend, I was saying, the fact that she said she's going to be brutally honest has gotten me really anxious since yesterday. I've been so anxious about it. I feel really sick, and it's gotten me really worried. I'm scared that I'm not going to be strong enough and brave enough to accept whatever is thrown at me. I'm really scared that I'm not, and I want to be, and I will post it even if I take it really badly. I'm going to post that conversation because you're here to watch the real stuff, you know. I'm not trying to fluff it up. And yes, some of my videos are a little bit more edited than others, and that's because, you know, I don't want to just be posting sit down videos and then that's it, you know. I want it to be a little bit more fun and interesting for you. And as a content creator, it's something that I really enjoy. I do have a very good friend called Theo, who edits my YouTube videos. The videos that I specifically put onto YouTube, I am having edited by him. The only videos that weren't being edited was the Difficult Conversations episode 1 and 2, because I was going for that completely unedited style. However, that I was really lucky, and please, this is no shade, this really isn't shade, and it how do I explain this in the best way possible? I'm not an articulate person on camera, and people know that. Like, people who watch me at this point know that I wasn't born to be in front of the camera. I was never born to be someone who spoke, you know, like, I hate public speaking, and I consider speaking in front of the camera public speaking. Blah blah blah. Sorry, I'm trying to like not bore you with all these explanations, but then this is my diary, so you shouldn't be here if you don't want to see this. So, like, I always said to myself, even if nobody watched these videos, I'm okay with it because this is my diary. You get me, right? You know who I am. You feel my heart, don't you? Because I panic all the time that I'm being misunderstood in some way. Like, people think that I'm a certain way. Like, someone was commenting saying, why do you talk so much about lack of confidence when you're clearly very confident yourself? And I'm like, clearly am I? No, I'm not. I'm really not. And my laughter is my nervous laughter. Like, watch me talk about death, because that is a topic coming up. I've lost quite a lot of loved ones in really quite horrific ways, and I want to talk about loss eventually, and I'll probably laugh in that video because I was never taught how to handle death and grief before. Anyway, enough about my sad life. What was I saying? Oh yes, okay, I was talking to you about why going forwards most, if not all, of the difficult conversations going forwards will start to be edited, and that is because Eric Ramelli and Chris Ash, who I did my first 2 interviews with, they are fantastic personalities, and I use personalities on purpose. That is because Chris Ash is an amazing radio show host. What do you call them? Radio show host. And Eric Ramelli, first of all, is just a man of many talents, but he also hosts his own podcast. He has one with an amazing lady called Liz, called Eric and Liz Show. Again, this isn't a plug, I'm just explaining to you that these 2 people have a background in knowing how to speak, how to play to the camera. Oh, not that it's about playing to the camera, but you know what I mean. Like, they know how to be in front of a camera and how to answer things in an articulate. I think the harder I try and explain this, the more I'm going to dig a hole. Basically, they understand what it is to film a video. Okay, not that anything is ever planned, not that I ever put anyone in a situation where they have to behave a certain way. All I'm saying is that, for example, I've interviewed someone in the past, like for an upcoming episode, where they were answering, but they had turned their face. Now, as a natural instinct, if they're feeling uncomfortable, they're going to turn their face. For the sake of the video, I can't have that. And so for my Thursday video coming up this Thursday, I said to Theo, look, traditionally you don't edit these videos for me. They're meant to be just my videos that I do, and they're meant to be completely authentic and raw. But can you edit this one for me on this occasion? Because I really want to use this video. I really want to use the content. I think the message is great, but unfortunately the footage is not that great. And I don't want it to be hard for anybody who's watching who might learn something from this video to find it hard to follow. So he agreed. He's amazing. Seriously, I don't thank him enough, and I don't talk about him enough, and that's because one of the things is, and Theo and I have discussed this, I'm really afraid that people will judge me for having some of my videos edited. Thing is, as a content creator, I thrive much more in planning, design, in project management, in content writing, content creation. The thing that I always struggled with is video editing, and even filming. Actually, it's something that in my previous work, despite the fact that my job was related to that, I begged and begged to get training, and I could, and they wouldn't let me. Something that I have been open in the past about is that I really struggle to spend money on myself, and so any kind of personal development in that respect, I really struggle to invest in. I see now that I'm in a position where I can't afford to be doing that I did myself a disservice. Because, you know, I can find it easily if I used to support a cousin who was going in high school, and every time she needed some kind of course or a new laptop or something, it was always provided for her, because I don't hesitate to spend money on other people's development, but I struggle to spend money on my own development. Anyway, point of my story is I wish I'd learned video editing. I'm slowly learning through the small videos that I do manage to edit, but this series is so important to me that I asked Theo to edit it for me. And yes, so that is that. And then I thought it was going to be a short-term thing, but then I did a second interview, and it was the same way. This person, you know, they are fantastic in their jobs, they're fantastic in their careers, they're not tech savvy. That's okay. The message is still amazing, the message is still clear, but unfortunately there's certain takes that I just don't know how I would be able to use it in an appropriate way, because they're saying some important things, but unfortunately the footage is just not good, and it's hard to follow, and sometimes it's hard to hear. So again, I said to Theo, look, I think that this is going to become a thing now, and so yes, so I have a feeling, I can't promise you that videos on difficult conversations won't be edited anymore. Like, I think they will be, because I'd rather that you came along, if you were going to watch them, and see that one of them is actually unedited, and then you're like, oh, okay, so this one was fine. Like, for example, my friend who I'm interviewing today, she is a friend of the camera, so I have no doubt that we won't need to edit except to cut out like dead space and things. These videos, I have complete trust in that happening, so we'll see. That's why I don't want to ever promise like, oh, they won't be edited. I don't want people to think a certain way. I'm learning how to edit videos, but because I made this bold decision to not have an income for the next 2 months, and instead try and make, first of all, YouTube a monetizing avenue, which will allow me to then do the charity work that I so badly want to do. Another reason why I set up my Patreon, and I thought people are going to think I'm money hungry. If I ever have to tell you something about myself, is that I'm not money motivated. I really hate money because it makes people evil, and I have seen that firsthand. However, I have a family to feed. I have rabbits to feed. I have family to support who really, really rely on me. So even though I finally did something that, is completely not a Jessy thing to do, which is quit my day job, quit my paying job, and rely on one income, which I'm really fortunate about. Right now, you know, fine, it's a struggle, fine, it's a worry sometimes, but I said I'd give myself 2 months to find a way to make money from doing what I'm doing, so that I can then focus on starting the social movement I've been talking about, finally making difference in this goddamn world, goddamn workplace, and make it safe for people. Because I think, if I'm really honest with you, that if I hadn't posted my story on LinkedIn when I did, I would have allowed my mental health to have gotten so bad that I probably would have ended up taking my life. I probably would have, because I had become so overcome by this idea that my weight was going to be the biggest problem in my life, and that I was worthless because I was fat. And yes, I'm changing things in my lifestyle. In fact, you heard it here first. I'm not planning on telling anyone until the video is gone out, but I'm actually filming tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning. I say filming because I asked if I could film it, but I'm going on my first workout with a personal trainer who is a very good person, very, very accomplished in their career. I'm not paying for this. He's doing this out of the goodness of his heart, and because he truly believes in this journey that we are all under. And I said to him, I have some very amazing people who unfortunately can't afford to pay for some kind of professional to help them. So can we share this video to show what kind of workout we are going to do? Because I haven't worked out in many years. I don't even want to lie to you, so I don't want to tell you how many years, but I'm going to say to you, in the last 3 years, I don't remember the last time I worked out. Yes, I have a gym membership. Yes, I cancelled it the moment I quit my job. However, I was still paying for that gym membership. For years and years, I was not using it because I had it in my head that if one day I would go, but I never did. So I asked this person who's going to be filming with me tomorrow if we can share some like tips and make it a workout that's actually genuinely manageable for people who have not worked out in years. Because you started this journey with me. I don't know why I'm talking to you as if it's you. My fitness journey, people have joined and they started it with me, so I want to take them every step of the way. And this kind of, he suggested that I should maybe film a fitness update or health journey update every week, so I'm going to start doing that on Fridays. I've got so much on right now. I have so many plans, and I'm starting to really miss what I loved about LinkedIn in the first place, which was having really good conversations with some amazing people who I never would have had the opportunity to meet had I not chosen to speak out about something really painful for me. And I don't get to do that as much right now because I'm in meetings all of the time, and how do I describe it? I'm trying to help people with their businesses. No, I'm not charging any money for it. Maybe I should. No, I'm joking. I don't want to. But some struggling businesses right now with their marketing. I'm trying to give advice. I'm trying to give advice on people where they can volunteer. I'm trying to link people up to the right recruitment agencies. I'm doing all of that pro bono. I don't want to make money from that. And that's why I so badly wish that and hope that my YouTube stuff works out, because that would just allow me to be able to concentrate on actually the work that I set out to do, which is to make positivity so loud that the negativity gets drowned out. Anyway, I'm really tired and my tummy really hurts, although since talking to you and sharing and unloading all these emotions and this fear that I've been having, my tummy has gradually started to not feel bad anymore. Like, it still feels sore, but it's starting to feel better. So I'm wondering, are you holding on to anything that makes you feel bad? And I don't know how your body kind of responds to that bad stuff, but my body responds in a way that gives me a really bad stomach ache, that I think I have food poisoning, and then I get nervous. And I'm not being gross, I'm just telling you, like, that is the truth. I get nervous poops and it really hurts my stomach, And yeah, it feels like I have like, yeah, anyway, it just hurts. It hurts. That's how my body tells me that I'm under serious stress and a lot of anxiety. What does your body tell you? Or what does it do when you're under a lot of pressure and you don't feel good? And the reason I say that is because if you can identify what your body does to tell you that you're in some kind of pain, whether it's emotional or physical, I want you to think about what it is that's making you upset, making you feel anxious, making you feel nervous. We can attempt this. Actually, I'm thinking about this because I know that people don't watch these videos. If you have something in mind, let me know. Send me a private message. If you're on LinkedIn and we're connected, send me a private message on LinkedIn. Give me your number, give me your email address, and I will Zoom you. Zoom you? I'll call you or I'll Zoom you. I can't call you if you're abroad. I don't want to spend that money. It's not that I don't want to, I can't spend that money, but I can Zoom you. And what we can do is we can spend an hour talking about what you're going through and how you're feeling. And then at the end of it, let's see if your version of a stomach ache, like I do, has gone away because of you talking. Because this is the second time now that this has happened where I've unleashed some worries that I've had, and then my body has done something crazy, which is like it started to feel better. I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but I'm always fascinated about doing studies. Like every year oh my god, I've never admitted this to anybody before. Every year I do a sleep study on myself. I literally can't believe I'm admitting this. Since I was probably 13 years old, every year I have done a sleep study on myself. That sleep study involves me writing in a journal for just 1 week. Every single night I write in a journal. I'll write as much as I can, so sometimes I'll get to like 6 pages and then I'm like, I'm done with this. I would actually write about anything that I'm thinking about, but I try and focus a lot on that day. And then I go to sleep. And then in the morning, I write down in a different journal what I've dreamt about, because I don't know how obvious this is. If there's a scientist watching this thinking, duh, then good for you that you know, but I'm still, however, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 26, 27, 28, 12 years on, are still doing this. 13, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. What? Hang on. Oh my god, this is so terrible. I'm good at maths, I'm just not good on the spot. 13, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 15 years I've been doing this sleep study, which tells me where are all my journals. Anyways, point of my story is that for a week I do it because I'm convinced that what you think about and what you do during the week really affects how good your sleep is and what kind of dreams that you have. I suffer from really bad night terrors. It happens if I'm too hot or if I'm really stressed or anxious. And because I have a poor relationship with sleep anyway, and I have sleep apnea, I really like to know, I don't know, it started off as a blog post that I really wanted to write, then I forgot to write it, then the next year I was like, I'll do it then, when I remembered again, and then I forgot again, and then it happened for several years, and then at this point it's become a tradition. So I've never admitted to anyone that in my life. I haven't even told Scott. I told Scott about it like a few years ago. I mentioned it. I don't know if he knows. At least the last 2 years of my journals has been on my phone. And so if I lost that, I think I would die. And I really did think I was going to die the other day when my phone broke, because the lady was like, there's no way we can recover this. And then somehow she managed to recover it, because I was like saying to Scott, oh, I lost like 2 days worth of footage in my filming, because I filmed like 4 to 6. Someone thought the other day that I said 46. I mean 4 to 6 videos a day. A lot of them are sit down videos. If they're more interactive, then I only do 4. And that's because as someone who suffers from depression and a lot of anxiety, I can't rely on myself to be dependable. See, if you're somebody else, I can be dependable for you. I'm a people pleaser, and also I really struggle to, I worry that people are going to get mad at me, so I really try not to disappoint. But when it comes to me, I cannot rely on myself to be dependable. So I always want to bank videos to make sure that if I have a blue day and I really can't film, because I do try and film, force myself, blue day, sorry, I force myself to film even if I don't feel good, but on those days when I really cannot film, and there's only really been like maybe 2 days where I felt that way, then I want something to fall back on. So as far as I'm concerned, a lot of the videos that I film are banked videos that I haven't had to use yet, so that's good. That's all really. This week has been a fairly good week. In terms of productivity, not so great. In terms of actually moving forwards with the charity ideas that I have, it is moving along. I've started filming videos for Patreon only content. I've set up my group community chat for Patreon. I still only have one Patreon person, but you know what? The moment she signed up, I cried, I thanked her, and I said to my partner Scott, I was like, even if it's just one, I don't care. That's enough for me right now, because it means that at least one person believes in me enough to invest in me and my ideas and in my future. But in case you watch this and think, oh, she doesn't think I support her, no, it's not that. Watch my Patreon video, please. I can't sit down again and talk about the same things I said before, but the Cliff Notes version is, I see support as coming in many very different ways, but financial support is just one of them. And right now everything is really difficult for everybody, so I don't want you to ever think that you can't show me support through the way you already do, which is just loving me, making me feel good, and sharing your stories with me. That is support enough for me. All I'm saying is that I've never had anybody invest in me before, so for me, Lorraine being my first Patreon means so much to me. I'm so grateful for her. I'm so happy, and I can't wait to love on her the way she has been loving on me. And I don't know, just to spread that positivity. But that made me suddenly think about the topic that I was talking about a few minutes ago, and this is kind of why I didn't want to edit these videos, because you can see how my mind goes through different tangents. Because someone said to me before, it's just like, Jessy, how are you so focused? And I was like, do you not watch my videos? I'm really not focused. I go off on tangents, but maybe I'm good at cutting some of those out, but I don't, to be honest with you, my morning videos, I very rarely cut much out of it, and you can see that from me touching my face, moving my hair, and scratching my nose. Although I started cutting out when I wipe my nose, because I do this, like, just a second, and it looks like I'm snorting cocaine. Like, I thought that, so I started thinking, do people think that that's what I'm doing if I'm doing this? So I've started cutting those out, because I get really self-conscious. I just don't like wiping my nose. Like, I know I'll like do this, or I'll do this, or I'll fiddle, but I don't like actually wiping my nose properly if I'm feeling a bit drizzly. I don't know, it's a bit personal, isn't it? Like, I don't like to blow my nose in the same room as other people. Is that weird? Is that just me? See, I'm going off another tangent. I don't even know if anybody has made it this far. It's okay. It's okay. So what I wanted to talk about, because I feel like even though this is such a long video already, I really wanted to talk about this earlier and I forgot. I don't know what tangent I went off to forget it, but I've been really struggling with getting support from people closest to me lately. Namely, I'm ready to share this actually, because I don't expect this person to watch my videos, because they show me the least amount of support in the whole entire world. The person that I considered my very best friend disappoints me, because I don't know what kind of expectation you should have in terms of support. It's just that when you are already on social media for your career, when you are already very frequently on social media, posting things, sharing things, Or if you are starting your own type of influencer, you know, this person dreams to be an influencer one day. If that is your kind of dream, and so you are constantly on social media, it's hurtful for me that you don't like or share. Or I don't even share. I think share is like a bit too much of an ask, but even just like one of my posts, because it really helps out. I'm not talking about LinkedIn, I'm talking about my other social media channels. It's like, it really helps a person out because it doesn't cost you anything to do. It takes 2 seconds, and for the most part, you share very similar content anyway. You know, you're supposed to be about empowerment and support and positivity, and you're very good at calling people out when they don't support you. But when it comes to me, it's like I don't deserve it. And it's really hurtful for me. I had a series that I started doing called the Emotion Exchange, and 2 weeks in a row I have missed those posts, and I have told people I'm posting, and then I've ended up not posting, and I've been too ashamed to mention it. Why? Because the people who let me down were the people who were meant to be my family, and that's fine, life happens, you know. But when you agree to help somebody out and you do agree to do something for somebody, commit to it. And if you can't, give them as much notice as possible. Do not wait until the day that it's due to suddenly say, oh, I can't do it, because then that leaves the person in a complete stuck situation. Like, I had to have words with Scott the other day because he was meant to cover for someone who let me down on the Emotion Exchange photo series that I do, and he had wanted to be part of it anyway, so he was like, Jessy, I'll do it, don't worry about it. And so I'd left him to it, and I kept on saying, you know, are you still okay? Because I don't want to pressure, I never want to pressure anyone to be part of any of my series. But for a while I've had strangers coming to me going, I'd love to be part of it, blah blah blah. I haven't opened that out yet because I've had so many friends and family say that they want to be part of it, and I wanted, you know, the people I'm closest to, I pick for a very good reason. For the most part, they are underdogs just like me. And so for me, I have a soft spot for underdogs. I want to give them a platform that they can speak, and I've never been in a situation where I could give anybody anything like that. And so I want to give my family and my friends the platform that they want, to be able to share themselves, share something of themselves, and maybe make something out of it. For example, my best friend who wants to be a travel influencer. I'm hurt. I'm going to be outright and say it. If she ever calls me out on it, I will be honest and say, you've hurt me. Because you know why? You're always on social media. You're so good at supporting everybody else, but you're meant to be my best friend, and you can't even do that for me. It hurts and it sucks. And for a while I was like really upset about it, and then I was like, am I allowed to be upset about it? And still conflicted. I don't know. Like, I asked my sister the other day, and she was just like, if you are hurt by it, then you're hurt by it. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, you're hurt by it. But I was like, yeah, but I don't want to look like somebody who is mean or something. But this is something I was frustrated with in previous jobs that I've had, is where I'm trying to get a social media campaign going organically, which is, you know, hard enough, but I've always found that in my marketing that organic does such wonders, and it's free. But you know what? The minimum amount of likes that you should get on a post if you're a company is the amount of staff that you have on that platform. For example, if you have 20 members of staff that's on Instagram, it's just expected. They want your company to thrive. They want a wider reach. They should commit to that. And I don't know if you agree with me or disagree with me, but that's how I feel about it. You know, especially if most of the time these people are already on social media. What is it to you to just add a little like on it? Especially if there's some way you're going to benefit from that success of that post or that person. Can you tell I'm really angry about it? I'm really angry. And then obviously I'm also upset because the first episode that I filmed for Difficult Conversations, I had this plan for the longest time, because I wanted to start bringing uncomfortable, difficult conversations up to the surface so that more of us can be comfortable enough or uncomfortable enough but bothered enough to have them. Because how many of us sidestep around a topic and make ourselves feel worse because of it? So anyway, point of my story is that the person that I filmed with, I gave them the opportunity to review and let me know if there's any changes that they wanted to make. And worst case scenario, I thought that they would be like, you know, I don't like this part, can you take this bit out? But instead of giving us the opportunity to redo the video in a way that could be done and re-edited it in a way that it could be nicer, even though I thought the video was raw, was honest, was good, they decided that they were going to be like, no, I just don't want to do it. Forget the 10 hours that my partner spent trying to piece the footage together, because it was taken from, somehow I've ended up with this. This is literally what I mean. This is what happens during my filming, is I end up with something and I realize that I'm fiddling with it. Luckily it was a lip balm. I don't know what else it could have been. I don't know why I insinuate these things and then like think back later on, like what else could I have possibly meant. Anyway, my phone is low bat. Oh, does anyone else say that? Low bat? It's low battery, so I'm going to have to go soon. But anyway, I keep doing this. But anyway, yeah, what did I think I was going to suddenly pick up? Nothing dirty. Get your mind out of the gutter. But anyways, forget the 10 hours that my partner spent putting the audio, because the audio stupidly was separate to the 2 videos that were also, you know, there were 2 separate cameras filming. We tried to get too fancy. It got really complicated. Plus the footage wasn't syncing properly, and then there was a problem with like converting the footage, and it was a whole hoo-ha that was really technical, that was really beyond my capabilities. So Scott went and put them together, then I went and edited it, and I think I spent like 12 hours doing that, and it took a long time because it's such a long video and there were so many important bits that I had to really cut, watch, and then, you know, until it got to, I think, 23 minutes, and that's as much as I could cut already. Like, that was already cutting so much, but still trying to retain the story. And again, it's not a problem for me that they no longer felt comfortable sharing that footage. For me, you know, obviously I was hurt because I'd spent a lot of time on it, and also I was really proud of it, and it wasn't the best video, but I figured, you know, people will be forgiving because I'm new to this whole video thing. But there was no apologies, there was no sorry I changed my mind, no sorry, you know, I'm sorry, I know you worked really hard on it, absolutely nothing. And then they didn't even message me, aside from just saying, nah, I just don't want it up anymore. It was just like done, and it's like, okay, well, thanks then. Thank you so much for your appreciation. Thank you that every time you've needed help, I've tried to be helpful in some way. Like, it hurts me to feel like I give so much more support than I get, and that people pick and choose when they come into my life. I can't tell you how many, I get a few thousand views, and I can't tell you the amount of people that have come back into my life completely out of the blue, and I'm questioning it. And I don't think highly of myself to think, oh, it's because I get a few thousand views on various different videos. It's not that. It's just weird to me that I have been alone for, my mental health has been at its worst probably over the last 2 years. I mean, it's getting better actually, and it's getting at its best a lot faster than I thought it would. And I owe it a lot of it to you guys, because I've never felt so much support and so much love and so much acceptance before. But as I said, you know, I was going through a really tough mental break like last year. And gosh, I can tell you again, with my 2 hands then, 2 hands, no, 1 hand with no, if you don't include family, okay? If you don't include family, it's just 1 hand. I can count 5 people who were genuinely there for me through probably the toughest year of my life, which is the post that I led you to, the post that changed my whole life, really. That was experienced in the toughest year of my life, and I had very few friends during that time, and yet somehow I'm starting to gain friends again. But I'm being clever, I'm being wiser, I'm trying to be good to myself, and I'm sorry that I've kept you so long. The whole issue, or the whole topic here, is that I feel positive this week, or this week that's just gone. I have some really exciting stuff coming up this week coming. But then I'm also really anxious because we're spreading my grandma's ashes next week, socially distanced. Like, my family are all in the healthcare, pretty much in the healthcare profession. They're very strict about social distancing, but we really needed to do this because my granny needs to be with her husband, with my granddad soon, because it's her birthday, or their birthday soon coming up. And so we need to release part of her ashes in her favourite place to be able to put the rest of her with my granddad to celebrate their birthday. So we couldn't wait any longer, and also with a big family like mine, it's hard to get everybody in one place. So I want to go, but it's going to be really tough because I really love my granny. I really love my granny, and so it's going to be a really emotional time, and I am actually planning to film it because, like I said, I want to talk about the topic of loss. And losing my granny was one of the strangest things in the world, because despite how incredibly sad it was, I had the opportunity to say goodbye to her and to say things to her that, having lost relatives in the previously and not being able to say goodbye, it was just a really strange experience to have. And so yes, I want to film it. I want to have something that I can remember from this moment, from the moment that we get to release her in her favourite place, and prepare her ready for her date with my granddad. That's it really. I hope that you are okay from watching this. I hope that I didn't bore you too much. Thank you if you did make it this far. Let me know if you made it this far. Maybe send me a message. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Be good to yourself, and I'll see you later.